If you're suffering from mechanical low back pain, then I will give you 4 exercises that you can do for some much needed relief. Hi everyone, and welcome to Exercise for Health. And low back pain will affect around 80% of adults in their lifetime. And while most episodes resolve within a few weeks, some people develop chronic low back pain lasting for more than 3 months, making it the leading cause for disability worldwide. Here are a few causes of low back pain that's by no means an exhaustive list, but it does highlight that back pain can be very complex, whether mechanical by nature or by other factors, and it's good to get a diagnosis from a healthcare professional to rule out any underlying health issue. In addition, lifestyle factors that can increase the risk for back pain include carrying excess weight, being under severe mental stress, a job that places repetitive mechanical strain on the lower back, lack of fitness or physical activity, repeated prolonged periods of poor posture, a muscle imbalance or weakness, and lifting heavy objects beyond your capabilities. So for long-term relief, you may need to address any of these risk factors if they're applicable, but the following 4 exercises can help reduce low back pain by improving your mobility in the spine and strengthening the surrounding muscles to relieve tension. Although these exercises are generally safe for most people, they won't be suitable for every person with back pain, so take care when trying them, and if any cause you more pain, then just stop straight away. The first exercise will help with mobilizing the vertebrae of the spine, and that's the cat-cow. Normally this exercise would be done on the floor, on all fours, but a much simpler way which can help with supporting your back is doing it seated. Here, while sat on a chair, place your hands around the inside of your knees to act as a lever, then pull on the arms, gently pushing your belly button forwards, arching the lower back, looking upwards. This will tilt your pelvis forwards, and you should take a deep breath in. Then, after holding the position for a second or 2, reverse it, slumping the torso forwards, tucking the tailbone of your spine underneath you, and looking down whilst breathing out. Repeat this movement, holding for a couple of seconds at the end of each position until you've done it 8 times each way. This can be a great way to reduce the stiffness in the back, particularly if you've been sat at a computer desk for a while, and it can also be done a few times a day or whenever you feel that your lower back needs it. Try and link the deep breathing with the movement, as this can also help with stress relief. The second exercise also helps with mobilizing the spine, but through rotation rather than flexion and extension as in the cat-cow exercise. This lying windscreen wiper movement can help release tension in the lower back, and you begin by lying down on your back on a firm surface with your feet together and your knees bent with your arms at your sides. Gently control the lowering of both knees to one side, allowing the pelvis to rotate, which will lift your hip on one side and drop the knees as far as you feel comfortable without any increase in pain. It's important that you try and keep your shoulder blades flat so they don't lift to encourage spinal rotation. Hold for a second or 2 at the bottom, then lift the knees up and across to the opposite side. Gently move the knees from left to right until you've completed 8 times each way. And this exercise can be a great way to calm the spine if you experience a flare-up of your pain symptoms, and could even be done in bed providing your mattress isn't too soft. The third exercise will help with enhancing your core stability, and that's the bird dog. This exercise would typically be done on the floor, but an easy way to start is by performing this exercise leaning against a wall. While standing a bit more than an arm's length away from a wall, place your hands on it about shoulder width wide and just below shoulder height with your arms straight. Have your legs straight and your feet are hips width wide on the floor. Focus on placing your lumbar spine in a neutral position, meaning that it's a midway point between flexion and extension when moving the pelvis backwards and forwards. Then breathe in and brace the core muscles around the abdomen to restrict any further movement. Raise one arm with the fist clenched above your head, whilst at the same time raising the opposite side leg up behind you slightly as you breathe out. Be careful not to raise the leg up too far, otherwise you may find your lower back arching. And remember, we want to restrict any movement of the spine during this exercise as we are working on stability. As you reach your arm and leg away from the body, hold momentarily, Then reverse it to draw the elbow and knee towards each other, breathing in before extending out again. Repeat this controlled movement until you've done it 8 times, then repeat the movement on the opposite side. The final exercise will help improve muscle strength, particularly in the lower back and the glutes around your hips, and could be considered a bit more advanced in terms of its difficulty to get the technique right, so care should be taken during this one. Initially, you start in a half kneeling position as though you just drop down into a lunge or split squat. Raise the arm above your head on the same side of the body as the leg that you have forwards. The movement will require you to drop the opposite hand down to the floor so it finishes in line with your front foot. As you do so, rotate the shoulders so you look up at the hand above your head, and this will cause your hip on the same side to shift back and out slightly to engage the glutes. Once your hand is flat on the floor, reverse the motion, pulling the outside hip back in to bring you back up to an upright half kneeling position again. Repeat this exercise 8 times before switching to do the same on the opposite side, and you may find one way more restrictive than the other, particularly if you have any muscle imbalances, so aim to progress this to a point where they feel the same on each side. By this point, you will be able to add a weight in the hand above your head to make it more challenging for the muscles. I hope these exercises improve your core strength and stability and ultimately reduce your back pain symptoms. If so, please give it a like by clicking the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing if you haven't already. As always, I will leave useful links in the description below, including a playlist of videos that help you manage your back pain. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay active and keep moving to feel better.
E